The pollution problem has reached its utter peak in Delhi and in the National Capital Region. The AQI today was over 400 in most places, which is severe category. It's hazardous for your health. And the Delhi government has imposed GRAP 4, which means that schools will be in hybrid mode. There will be less than any BS4 cars will not be allowed inside the National Capital Region. Government offices will be on, again, work from home. Private offices are advised 50% work from home, 50% work from office. But here's the thing. This whole system of measuring AQI and then responding to the AQI, this whole GRAP system, is a post-facto system. It kicks into action only after the air quality has dipped and dipped so badly as we are seeing today in Delhi. It'll be in place for a few days, and then once the air gets slightly better, we'll be back to square one, going back to our old polluting ways. The question is, instead of having a reactive approach, who is going to take a proactive approach in tackling Delhi's pollution problem? Even the parliament, now in the very fag end, it was for 3 weeks, this is the third and final week of the winter session. In the very fag end of the winter session, they've decided to take up the pollution debate. Why? Why is pollution not the number one priority issue, even for our parliamentarians, even for those who have to come to Delhi to attend parliament, even if it's just a few times a year? This should be the number one issue. This should be the issue that everybody is riveted and talking about, but unfortunately, that is not the case. I want to play out a short sort of walkthrough that my colleague Shrishti did from different parts, landmark areas in the national capital, and you just get to see how bad the situation was. In fact, there was 0 departures from the Indira Gandhi International Airport in Delhi till about 10 a.m. this morning.
It's a chilly morning here in the national capital this Monday. As you can see behind me, the extent of the fog, in this case, smog, has really enveloped the entire national capital region. Now we are here at the Akshardham flyover where you can see that the visibility has really come down. Now according to the India Meteorological Department, the visibility has gone down to 50 meters both at Palam as well as Safdarjung. Now if you remember, over the last 3 days, the air quality in the national capital has really plummeted. Now on 13th December, it crossed the 400 mark. Now AQI index anywhere between 400 to 450 falls into the severe category. But yesterday, it also crossed the 450 mark of severe plus. Now, according to the Central Pollution Control Board, the daily AQI index for Delhi was recorded at 466, which falls into the severe plus category. It was equally worse in Noida, where it was 468. Now, the residents of Delhi are definitely breathing extremely toxic air, which is high in particulate matter, PM 2.5, PM 10. There are toxic gases here, nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxides, and other particulate matter, which is making it difficult to breathe.
So what does it actually mean in real terms when the air quality index crosses 100? That is the equivalent of having 2 cigarettes a day. Even if you're a non-smoker, it is actually having the effect that you're smoking 2 cigarettes a day. If the AQI is above 200, then your lungs basically take a hit of 7 cigarettes a day. It's almost like smoking a pack of cigarettes an entire day if the AQI is above 200. If it is above 400, it's literally like smoking 2 full packets and a little more of cigarettes, 23 cigarettes per day. That's the impact that it has on your lungs. In fact, over the last few days, the impact of the AQI above 400, that's what it's been in the national capital over these last few days, as a result of which GRAP 4 has been instituted. If it's above 650, it's like smoking 34 cigarettes or 3 packets a day. And if it's above 850, then it's literally like killing yourself. It is 4 packets of cigarettes, 43 cigarettes a day. You don't really need to smoke to destroy your lungs in Delhi this season. Just breathing this toxic air is bad enough. So it's a grey skyline. The traffic was barely visible. In fact, like I said, the airport was completely jammed out. Not a single flight took off till about 10 a.m. or so. Even the Prime Minister's takeoff had to be delayed by an hour because of the bad fog and smog. But could this have been avoided? Now, right now, Delhi is under GRAP 4. I'll get to what GRAP 4 means in 1 second, but clearly They could have better prepared for this. GRAP stages 1 and 2 could have been identified earlier, and these measures could have come into place much earlier. Action was needed when the air turned poor, which is above 150, and when it turned very poor, which was above 250, not after it became a health emergency when it crossed 400, and therefore GRAP 4 had to be instituted. Construction dust, that is the single biggest reason for why Delhi is so polluted. Construction happens throughout the year. Construction dust was left unchecked. Strict monitoring is required at every site, which in fact should be the norm. If you go abroad to Dubai or Bangkok or any of these places where there is large-scale construction, every single building is mandated to be watered twice in the day, and also they should have these nettings which cover the entire construction so that dust does not accumulate outside the construction premises. Round-the-clock dust control should also have been mandatory, not an optional service. There should have been zero tolerance to open waste burning. Even today, in large parts of the national capital, there is open burning of waste that happens. Heavy penalties should be instituted across the entire NCR, but that is somehow never implemented on the ground. Smog towers and sprinklers, they are a last-minute fix. They're really not going to solve this problem once the AQI crosses 400. They should have been ready, they should have been deployed much before the pollution problem peaked. And yet, despite all of this, all that we get from our politicians, who, by the way, many of whom have to turn up in Parliament in the middle of this toxic air, all that we get from our politicians is tooting their horn, and when times get tough, they resort to the same routine blame game. Let's listen in to some of these folks, and then we'll open this up to our panelists as well.
In 2019, I had moved a 193 on pollution, and I had led the discussion in the Lok Sabha. Nothing has changed between 2019 and 2025. Pollution is worse. I have a 193 on pollution in this session also. So therefore, under those circumstances, this is the most critical thing Parliament should be discussing.
देखिए, हमें ये समझना पड़ेगा कि दिल्ली बदहाल स्थिति में कैसे पहुंची। पिछले 10 सालों में अरविंद केजरीवाल की सरकार दिल्ली में रही, लेकिन पोल्यूशन पर एक भी कदम अरविंद केजरीवाल की सरकार ने उठाया नहीं। जब से हमारी सरकार दिल्ली में बनी है, सरकार लगातार पोल्यूशन को कम करने के लिए काम कर रही है, चाहे वो सांसद हो, चाहे वो विधायक हो या स्वयं मुख्यमंत्री हो। सड़क पर आपको दिखाई दे रहे हैं। हम दिल्ली के लोगों को स्वच्छ हवा देंगे, लेकिन क्योंकि 10 साल में इतना बदहाली हो गई है, उसको ठीक करने में थोड़ा समय जरूर लगेगा।
All right, it was so bad that Argentinian football legend Lionel Messi, who in fact came to Delhi, it was the last of his 4-city tour to India. He ended his GOAT tour in the Arun Jaitley Stadium in Delhi earlier this afternoon. A video of that presence of Messi there in that stadium is going viral. This has been circulated by the Aam Aadmi Party, was shot by one of the fans. It basically shows the fans who are shouting AQI from the stands the minute the Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta entered the stadium to felicitate Messi. They're shouting AQI, you can hear it, you can play the nat up, and that's what they are shouting. The Delhi Chief Minister has a lot to answer for. She was there at the Messi event. She was there at the BJP party headquarters earlier today to welcome the new national president, the national working president of the BJP, Mr. Nitin Nabeen. Clearly, those seems to be the priority areas for her as opposed to fixing the national capital's air. Let me go across to our guests who are joining us. Niyoma Gupta is spokesperson of the Delhi BJP, Somnath Bharti, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. Ma'am, this has been a constant problem. When the Aam Aadmi Party was in power, you were telling the people of Delhi that, look, when we come to power, we'll fix it. We'll get the state governments of the other neighboring states to cooperate, etc. The Aam Aadmi Party is the culprit. Nobody wants to work with them, etc., etc. Now you're in power. You've been in power. It's going to be close to a year now in February. You're not able to fix this problem either, Niyoma Gupta, just like the Aam Aadmi Party didn't do anything for the last 10 years.
Good evening, Mr. Jacob. See, Delhi AQI today shot up, and this is a cause of concern not for only the citizens, for government, for everyone. And on this, there's no divided opinion. And good air is most certainly the responsibility of the government, and we are doing everything to improve it. However, one or two things in today's circumstances, it's not due to the government inaction or negligence. Sometimes there are some factors which are beyond one's control. 2 days ago, the IMD issued an alert for a western disturbance which was persisting over northern Pakistan. As a result of it, there was a sharp reduction in the wind speeds, which caused this problem. Having said that, since we've come into power, we are relentlessly working towards improving the AQI and making it a non debatable topic. In fact, a few days ago only, on the 12th, the CAQM deployed like more than 19 teams for road inspection drive. Following, there was geotagging, time stamped photographs of roads were collected on roads which we still have some dust built up, which has been a problem over the past 10 years, which was never, taken care of. These inspections and cleanliness kind of reduce a significant problem of pollution. Having said that, you were mentioning also, construction, demolition activities have been completely banned, including in terms of highways, roads, flyovers. And mostly, if you see, 96% of the industries have been shifted to approved fuels when it comes to CAQM. So, steps which are scientific in nature are being done. However, things cannot
No,
overturn
but
in a
ma'am,
matter
tell
of a
me,
year.
why then,
Yeah.
see, all of these steps that you outlined
Right.
have come into effect after GRAP 4 went into effect, which was from, I think, Friday last, if I'm not
No,
mistaken.
that's incorrect. These steps have
No,
been,
no,
sorry.
what have you done before that?
We
Construction
have
continued even until when GRAP 3 was in place.
No, so since we've come into power, in numerous water sprinklers, when it comes to construction verifications, when it comes to PNG infrastructure, which is now available in over 224, multiple steps, even like something like a capacity of increasing our legacy waste processing, like about 7,000 tons per day has been added. That couldn't have happened over the weekend. It happens over a period of time. And not only that, concurrently working with Haryana, UP, Rajasthan, in terms of small steps like heavy diesel trucks barred from entering the state. Okay,
No, but the
nighttime
heavy
checks.
diesel trucks are barred only after GRAP 4 has come into effect, not before that.
It's been happening over a period of
No,
time. Even
that is
like
not true.
nighttime
That
checks.
is not
No,
true.
that is true.
I'm happy to take you at 11 p.m. to the Delhi borders. You take any border, Haryana border, UP border.
Yeah, I'm
The
happy to
trucks
go
are
with you, and
coming.
this
The
is from
trucks are
UP.
coming dime a dozen. Nobody is
I'm
stopping them.
happy to go with you. And in fact, nighttime checks have been ordered for even like open burning of dry waste. In fact, you made a statement when you were opening your debate
Correct.
about solid fuel, which is being used and which is being burned. We've even kept a penalty on that. In fact, today, even these tandoors and all have been shut, which are also significantly contributing to
Ma'am,
pollution.
you keep saying we've done this, we've done that. None of the result of that is visible to Delhi air. It certainly is
Yes,
not
with
showing
all
in
due
the air.
respect,
Let
because
me
as I told you,
let me
we are
ask
carrying a
Somnath.
legacy of
Yeah,
problems, and it
let
doesn't
me ask
happen with a
Somnath
magic
Bharti.
wand.
Legacy of problems. So for 75 years we've been fighting a legacy only. Somnath Bharti,
No,
the
I'm
point
sorry,
is
you
this.
cannot belittle
No,
it
the
like
point is this. The point is, Somnath Bharti, when you were in power for 10 years. For the first 5 years, you said, oh, let's come to power in Punjab, we'll stop the stubble burning, we'll stop the stubble burning. You came to power in Punjab a few years ago in 2022. Despite that, nothing changed. The farmers continue to burn stubble. Delhi was just as polluted. Now the BJP came to power saying, we'll fix this problem. The other neighboring state governments, UP, Rajasthan, Haryana, etc., our governments will get them to stop. They came to power. They're also not able to fix this problem. Are we, the people of Delhi, Delhiites, now just having to accept this as fait accompli? This is our fate. We have to live with it now. Mr. Bharti.
Zakka, good evening to you and to the audience. See, I was listening very patiently, my friend from BJP, that Aam Aadmi Party has done nothing. In fact, he also started saying what we have done in Punjab. If you look at the reports, the newspaper reports and the government reports, both stated very clearly that year after year, stubble burning in Punjab is coming down, and it is down this year by 95% when you compare it to the previous years. 95%. Number two, see, Delhi AQI is 500, Beijing is 80 to 120, I was just reading on the website. Lahore is 200 to 300, London is 20 to 30, Tokyo is 15 to 25. So, we want to be number one, even in pollution. We had chosen a government. Today, BJP is so empowered. At center is BJP, MCD is BJP, state is BJP, UP is BJP, Haryana is BJP. Still, pollution we are number one. They can't. And what are they accusing? Arvind Kejriwal. Arvind Kejriwal had done too many things. Electric vehicle policy, we had brought it out. We had closed down thermal plants. We were out with odd even scheme. We had phased out old vehicles, polluting vehicles. Massive expansion.
Sir, you came up with the smog towers. None of those smog towers are working. Deployed. It was not working when you were in power. It's not working now when the BJP is in power.
Zakka, the way you started, you sounded biased, because see, I don't want you to, somebody else caliber of yours.
My bias will go up in the smog, sir.
Just a moment.
आप देखिए ना, इतना smog pollution है. My bias will burn up in the smog.
Zakka साहब,
बताइए.
एक सेकंड मुझे, जैसे आपने अनइंटरप्टेड उनको समय दिया, मुझे दे दीजिए.
बताइए.
हमने कभी रोका तो नहीं, कभी डिस्टर्ब नहीं किया. ठीक है. देखिए, आज पूरा पार्लियामेंट क्या डिस्कस कर रहा था भाई? मोदी जी को कांग्रेस ने कहा भाई मोदी कब्र में जाएंगे. ठीक है. और इस पे सारा पूरा पार्लियामेंट ठप पड़ा हुआ है. पूरी बीजेपी आउट है. बीजेपी को ये चिंता नहीं है कि मोदी तो कब्र में जाएंगे नहीं, क्योंकि वो तो नॉन बायोलॉजिकल हैं. लेकिन हम कब्र में चले जाएंगे, दिल्ली वाले. हम सारे कब्र में जाएंगे, दिल्ली वाले. ये चाहते हो? सर में कहीं है? मुसीबत क्या है? इनको नॉन इश्यूज पे डिबेट करना है. पूरे पार्लियामेंट के उन्होंने अखाड़ा बना रखा है. जैसे ही भाजपा कुछ गिरने लगती है तो कांग्रेस फटाफट आ जाएगी.
भाटी साहब, ये भी बताइए ना, आपके भी है 4 एमपीज राज्यसभा में, वो क्या कर रहे थे? उन्होंने मूव किया क्या प्रिविलेज मोशन या प्राइवेट मोशन की? दिस हैज टू अडजर्नमेंट मोशन मूव किया उन्होंने.
भाजपा को घुटने पर खड़ा कर दिया है.
नहीं, टेल मी, you have 4 MPs in the Rajya Sabha. Did they move a privilege motion saying this should be discussed?
Look at the Sanjay Singh's debates. Look at the Sanjay Singh's, responses to the questions. I mean, Zakka, you need to ask questions, please, my dear friend. See, today, all engines are of BJP. Still, they are not doing anything.
Okay, let me ask one pertinent question. No, one second, Niyama Gupta. One second, Niyama Gupta.
They don't even know.
So for the last 10 years, the Central Pollution Control Board, the CPCB, has been collecting something called an Environmental Pollution Charge, EPC. So in the last 10 years, they have collected 427 crores. As of March 2025, only 130 out of those 427 crores were utilized. About barely a fourth of that money was used. For the last 10 years, environmental cess is being collected. From 2016, environmental cess is being collected. Total amount that's been collected of environmental cess is 45.8 crores, of which only 9 lakh rupees, less than 1%, madam, has been spent. Why is all this being collected if no action is going to be taken on pollution, if these funds are going to remain unutilized?
Okay, so when I started on your debate, I was mentioning innumerable steps which are being taken as we speak, when it, on a multiplicity of footing, when it comes to increasing the number of water sprinklers, increasing everything in terms of sanitation. All over, work is being done. Yes, I agree, today there's been a spike which happened because of weather conditions. So I'm not even blaming the Aam Aadmi Party for today. However, the theatrics of my opponent have begged me to ask certain questions, which I'll come back to again. Just to tell you in a nutshell, we have been working and the results started to, actually come before the latest spike of today. The data to prove this was the average AQI in Delhi for the period between 1st January and 9th November was approximately 175. This was 189 during the corresponding period of the last year. The PM 2.5 and PM 10 concentration was about 70 micrograms, and it went up to 170. All throughout the previous years, it was 195, showing some sort of, it was coming down. Having said that, the steps continue to go from our side.
No, but ma'am, can you please explain why these funds are remaining unutilized? These funds are being charged from the taxpayer of India. Why is this being unutilized or underutilized?
If the funds were not being utilized, how would we improve the system of dust suppression? Water sprinklers. I mean, you see the ground reality. Over 18,000 potholes have been repaired. 2,650 of the roadsides have been paved. I mean, steps are being taken. So to say that nothing is happening, etc., is not something
So,
which is going to
what
fly by.
explains why only 1% of environmental cess collected in the last 10 years has been used? What explains that? Clearly,
It is
pollution is
just
not a
started.
priority, right? That's
No,
why.
no, no. That is your assessment of the situation.
Okay,
But it
you
will
give
be
me a
used
reason
over
why
a
it's
period
not
of
spent.
time. We've only been in power for a short period of time. Allow us to go through the whole process because
No, I'm
our
talking about
intention is
central
very
government.
clear.
Central Pollution Control Board has collected
It's deployed to different
427
states.
crores.
Okay, it's deployed to different states. For example, in situ crop exchange, all that requires dispersal of funds, which happens over a period of time. Okay, so funds are being used, and then when it
Ma'am,
comes to my
I'll tell you
opponent,
whether Mr.
you're
Bharti's
not
party is
listening.
in power or whether your party is in power. I'll tell you why this is not a priority, viewers. This is not a priority. It's not going to be a priority for any political party in Delhi because they have taken the middle class for granted. Middle class will anyway either not vote, or even if they vote, they're so minuscule it doesn't matter. Ultimately, the people who vote are the ones who get guarantees, right? 10,000 rupees, 5,000 rupees, 1,500 rupees. That's all the politicians care about. So even if they have to, live through the smog season in Delhi, come to winter session of parliament, it's a hafte 10 din ka problem. It's a week, 10 days, 2 weeks at best. Then they can forget about it. There is no political cost, no political downside.
Zakka, would you permit
That's
me to
why
rebut?
politicians get away with it, ladies and gentlemen. Somnath Bharti can disagree with me. His party was in power in Delhi for 10 years. If tomorrow somebody comes out and says, we will vote out political parties if they don't fix the pollution problem. If Delhiites, all 1.5, 1.6 crore of them come out and say, fix this issue, otherwise we will not give you our vote, people will fix it. Politicians will fix it. Because there's no political downside, no political cost. That's why politicians don't care about this issue. It's as I said, a weekly, fortnightly, maybe a 1 month problem, after which they'll all forget about it. People will also forget about it. Somnath Bharti, final word. I got to wrap up after that, please.
See, the problem is not that. See, when pollution is a central issue, remember that. So at our time, we had no cooperation whatsoever from the center in any manner. And look at the moment they have BJP everywhere, still they are not able to do it because they don't have the niyat. Look at the way water sprinklers were used on the aqua monitoring stations admitted by the Chief Minister. And Chief Minister is saying that AQI and temperature, I mean, what the hell is going on? She does not know what is the problem, how to distinguish AQI from the temperature.
Okay.
Even, and the solution came what?
Mr. Jacob,
the
may I?
meter readings, can't go international. It has to be Indianized. So they will control on that as well. The problem, they use cloud seeding. What happened? They spent 10 crores of the people's money and nothing happened. Problem, and Lancet has said 17 lakhs people are dying every year because of pollution.
Yeah.
Government says there is no data to ascertain that. So problem is, unless you admit, Zakka, that there is a problem called pollution which is killing people. If you don't admit, there is no solution at all. Today, all the power is resting and vesting with BJP, center, state, MCD, UP, Haryana, and they can't fix it because they don't have the niyat.
Okay.
They will never fix it.
I got to wrap
They
up. Thank
know
you. Thank
that
you.
towards
Thank
I'm
you
so
to
sorry,
both
you have to
Somnath
allow
Bharti
her to-
and Nyoma Gupta. Like I said, I think it boils down to no political downside as far as this issue is concerned, because if the people of Delhi are willing to come out and say we will not give votes to those parties or those individuals, those politicians who are not able to fix this problem, then this problem will be fixed. But Delhiites won't say that, and there is no political downside to a politician. AQI is a seasonal problem. It will come, it will go.